What did we talk about last week on Wednesday and Thursday? What about systems of linear equations? What did we do with them? What did you say, Maya? We graphed them. We solved them by graphing, right? What was my answer of a system of equations?
A single point.
Single point, which we call an ordered pair. So we had an x value and a y value, correct? So, there's another method of solving systems of equations called substitution. So we're going to look at that method today. Solving systems of linear equations by substitution. So solving a system of linear equations by substitution, there's a few steps we can follow. Step 1, solve one of the equations for one of the variables. It doesn't matter which variable we solve for and which equation we solve for that variable. Just solve one of your equations for one of your variables. So solve one of them for y or solve one of them for x. Step 2, substitute the expression from step 1 into the other equation and solve for the other variable. So once we get a variable by itself in one of our equations, we're going to get a variable equals some type of expression. We can plug that expression in for that specific variable to our other equations. And then step 3, substitute the value from step 2 into one of the original equations and solve. So this may not make a lot of sense right now, but hopefully once we jump into the examples, it'll make some more sense. Are there any questions? Need a little more time writing?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. Example 1. Solve the system of linear equations by substitution. So we got a system of linear equations. Y equals negative 2x minus 9. 6x minus 5y equals negative 19. What did step 1 on my previous slide say to do? Solve one of my equations for one of my variables. Is one of my equations already solved for one of my variables? Do I have a variable by itself on one side of the equation on either equation?
Yes.
Which one? First equation is solved for what? Y. It's got y by itself, right? Nothing is with y. Y is isolated by itself on one side of the equation. Does everyone see that for equation 1? So, I don't really have to do step 1 on those steps that I listed earlier, because I've already got one solved for one of my for one of my variables. So, from this equation, I know that y equals, it's a terrible underline, y equals negative 2x minus 9, correct? That variable and that expression are interchangeable because they equal each other, right? So this is called substitution because what I can do is I can take this expression that y equals and plug it in for my y variable into my other equation. Does everyone see that? So I'm going to rewrite my bottom equation exactly the same, except when I get to my y value, I'm going to plug in the expression that it equals. So what does y equal? Does everyone see what I've done? Once again, y equals negative 2x minus 9. So those two things are interchangeable. Y and negative 2x minus 9. So in my second equation, I can take that y out, replace it with the expression that it equals. Everyone okay with that first step? This is why it's called substitution, because we're substituting that y or that expression for that y value. Everyone good with that? How many variables do I have in my new expression that I wrote?
2.
Well, 1. I asking like how many different variables. I've got one variable, right? I just have x. I've got two x's in there, but it's x. I'm at some point going to be able to combine like terms. So let's try to solve this equation for what? X, right? So what do I need to do here first to solve for x? Distribute. We said plus 10x. And then what's negative 5 times negative 9? Everyone good with that step? What are my like terms here? What do I get when I combine those? 16x plus 45 equals negative 19. Now what can I do? Subtract 45 from both sides. Trying to get x by itself. Negative 19 minus 45. Negative 64, right? And then how do I get x by itself? Divide by 16. What would x equal? Negative 4. There we go. Questions on that? Am I done? Very good. Remember, what is my answer for a system of equations? An ordered pair. What did I just find? My x value. Do I know my y value yet? I do not. I have to find my y value now. Right? So, we got to plug this value that we just found, x equals negative 4, into one of our original equations. It doesn't matter which equation we plug into, but which one's going to be easiest? The first one, the top one, because it's already solved for y. So I'm just going to plug in whatever I get. That's what my y value is going to be. Can I erase my work over to the left? So we're plugging into y equals negative 2x minus 9. Substituting negative 4 for x. What's negative 2 times negative 4? 8. 8 minus 9 is what? Negative 1. I do want you to write your answer as an ordered pair. So what would it be? What comma what? Negative 4 comma negative 1. If you put negative 1 comma negative 4, is that correct? No. X and y are not interchangeable. Those would be two different ordered pairs. You have to get the order correct. Everyone good with that? If we wanted to check our solution, what would we have to do?
Plug them in and see if they work out.
Plug my ordered pair in, negative 4, negative 1, to both equations. Make sure I get a true statement on both of them. Okay, we're not going to do that today. Any questions on example 1? Does solving by substitution make sense? Okay, let's look at a few more examples. Can I move on? Once again, solve the system of linear equations by substitution. Negative x plus y equals 3. 3x plus y equals negative 1. So what's my first step on that from that very first slide that we had? What does step 1 tell me to do on that first slide that we had? Solve one of my equations for one of my variables. Here, do I already have a variable by itself? No. I do not. So which equation do we want to solve for which variable?
First one for y.
Solve the first one for y. What would be my first step to solve that equation for y?
Plus x on each side.
Add x to both sides. So I get y equals... not 3x. Can I combine 3 and x? So it'll just be x plus 3. Do I have one of my equations solved for a variable now? Yes, I do. So, what can I do now?
All the other one.
Huh?
Or apply that to the other one.
Apply it to the other one. I know y equals x plus 3. So I can replace this y in my other equation with x plus 3. Everyone okay with that? So 3x plus x plus 3 equals negative 1. Questions there? Okay, what can I do from there?
Just do basic. What's it called? When you like shorten down an equation just by basic math. Not distribute. Combine.
Combine? I can combine here.
Combine.
What's 3x plus x?
3x squared or 4x.
4x. It'd be 3x squared if we were multiplying, but we're adding here, so we just combine them by adding the coefficients. Everyone good with that? What's my next step? Minus 3. Negative 1 minus 3. Negative 4. How do I get x by itself? X equals negative 1. I know it's part of my ordered pair. I'm done, right? That's my answer.
Swap out the x in the first equation with the x we got from the second equation.
Do we want to use equation 1, equation 2, or this new equation that I got from solving my first equation?
Let's do equation 1. The third equation.
The third equation, that's probably going to be the easiest. You could use either equation. But the third equation that I got from solving my first equation for y, it's already solved for y, right? So all I have to do is plug in x, and y is already by itself. What's negative 1 plus 3? There we go. So my answer is negative 1, comma 2. If it does ask you to check your solution, you need to check your solution. Questions on example 2? Everyone good with it? Example 3. Because I pulled this example from somewhere else. So it looks a little different. That's okay though. Still the same concept. Solve the system of linear equations by substitution. Do I have an equation already solved for a variable?
Yes.
Top one is solved for what?
X.
X. Does it matter which variable we are plugging in? No. This case, I'd have x by itself. I know x equals 2y. So in the second equation, what am I replacing with 2y? I'm replacing my x with 2y. So 2y plus 2 times 2y equals 12. Once again, I just write that equation the exact same, except when I get to the x, I pull that x out, replace it with the expression that it equals. Everyone good with plugging in? You awake? What's 2 times 2y?
4y squared.
4y. Everyone good with that? 2y plus 4y. 6y. And how do I get y by itself? Divide by 6. Y equals 2. There's my y value for my ordered pair. Do not stop after finding one of your variables. Which equation do you want to plug into? First one. Could I plug into the second one? You could. You can plug into either equation. What does x equal? 4. So what is my ordered pair? 4, 2. How do I want you to write your answer? As an ordered pair. Have those parentheses, have that comma in the middle, have your x coming first and your y coming second. I want your answer as an ordered pair. And we're good with that. Can I move on?
Yeah.
Still solving by substitution. Just throwing lots of examples at you. Y equals x minus 4. Excuse me. Y equals negative 2x plus 2.
They're both solved for y.
They're both solved for y. So what do we think I might need to do?
Well, they're actually the same. You can just find it out with that.
Say what?
They're actually very similar, so you can just choose one.
Choose one for what?
For y, because they're both solved for y.
So which one do we want to choose that we want to plug that expression into? See the top one? I know y equals x minus 4, so what do I do with that x minus 4? Not x. Plug it in for y. I can replace this y with x minus 4, right? Because y equals x minus 4. Everyone good with that step right there? I can just set my two expressions equal to each other because they're both y equals. Now I've got a variable on both sides. Do I want to deal with the variable first or the constant? Variable. Remember, we always want to deal with the variable first, just in case our variables cancel each other out in the process of moving it over. Okay? So what would I do to get the variables on the same side? I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So negative 4 equals, what's negative 2x minus x? Negative 3x plus 2. Are my variables on the same side? Yes, they are. Now, I can deal with my constants. So what do I need to do now? Subtract 2. Still trying to solve for x here. Negative 4 minus 2. Negative 6 equals negative 3x. And how do I get x by itself? Divide by negative 3. What does x equal? 2. X equals 2. Which equation do we want to plug into to find y? Top one. Y equals 2 minus 4. So what does that make y equal? Negative 2. So what's my ordered pair? 2. Negative 2. Questions on example 4? Everyone feeling comfortable with substitution? Not too bad? Like it better than graphing or no?
Yes.
You guys aren't fans of graphing, are you? Just in general. One more. Solve the system of linear equations by substitution. Negative 5x plus y equals 11. Negative 6x minus y equals 22. Are either equations solved for either variable? They are not. Which one's probably going to be the easiest to get a variable by itself? The fewest steps. Top one. I only have one step on the top one to get which variable by itself. Y. What do I have to do to get y by itself? Add 5x to both sides. So I get y equals 5x plus 11. Questions there? Am I good to substitute now? Yes, no, maybe so. Because I have my variable by itself. I know y equals 5x plus 11. So I'm going to replace this y with 5x plus 11. Good? Has anyone seen the issues with what I've done? Why should it not be a plus?
Because the variable itself, or not the variable, but the equation of y is inherently negative.
It's what?
Inherently negative. So you can't,
For my second equation, the 6x minus y?
no, the negative y.
Yeah. Okay. So, what I'm missing is my set of parentheses. When I plug in, I want to use parentheses. Because what's this number in front of this y? Negative 1. So it's like negative 1 times y. So it'd be like negative 1 times that expression. So what do I have to do with that negative? Distribute it. Negative 1 times 5x.
Negative 5.
Negative 5x. Negative 1 times 11.
Negative 11.
Negative 11. Very good. Everyone okay with that? Okay with that. Put parentheses when you plug in. Negative 6x minus 5x.
Negative 11.
Negative 11x. What's my next step to get x by itself? Add 11 to both sides. Negative 11x equals 33. And how do I get x by itself? Divide by negative 11. X equals negative 3. Questions there? Do we want to plug into equation 1, 2, or 3 to get my y?
3.
3. It's already solved for y. So y equals 5 times negative 3 plus 11. 5 times negative 3. Negative 15 plus 11. Negative 4. So what's my ordered pair? Negative 3, comma, negative 4. Any questions on example 5? Questions on substitution? Good? Can I move on? Here's our assignment. Page 237, numbers 3 through 20 all. When's our assignment from Thursday due? Did I say Tuesday? Yeah, because I think I said the one from Thursday is due today, right? So I think I need to still get that assignment from Thursday uploaded to Canvas. So I'll probably do that real quick so you guys can get that uploaded. This one will be due Wednesday, which is the 5th. Can you believe we're already in May? Me either. If you have the book on your phone, you can use that. I'm going to pull the book page up here on the board here in just a second. Are there any questions about the notes or the assignment before I kill the recording?